Hello, 900 and something YouTube subscribers. You're watching my favorite channel. I am Chillmonger. This is Amazing Spider-Man. It's issue 874, and it read like an issue 874. Wow. I saw on my recommended page on YouTube a couple of videos because it's Thursday right now that were like, we'll explain what happened. Retcon happened. And I'm like, oh, because I didn't watch these videos because I do want to give a fresh recollection review because this is the perspective of someone who's only read maybe 73 issues of Amazing Spider-Man ever. And damn, I did get a few things, okay? The last page when Mephisto says something about it's risky when you're doing the slots. What did he say? The next time, Steven, I suggest you stay away from the slots. I'm like, all right, Dan Slott used to write this comic book series. So that's a shot from Mr. Nick Spencer to Dan Slott. Okay, cool. Awesome, guys. Keep using your pages to insult each other back and forth. Awesome. Not that I'm a fan of Dan Slott. You know what I think of this guy's writing. What he did with Franklin Richards is abhorrent, but it doesn't matter anyways because Jonathan Hick. We'll see Inferno actually. We'll watch what happens in Inferno before we get that. But as far as this comic, continuing with this first page, right? I'm like, oh, let's see if it's Gwen Stacy because that was my guess from the last issue. Let's see. And we get the page where, boom, it's Gwen Stacy. Mary Jane even calls her Gwen. She gets into a long story about Sarah and Gabriel, who first I'm hearing of it. No, I don't remember them even loosely. Like, who the hell are these two kids, Sarah and Gabriel? We also get Harry explaining to his dad everything was an illusion, everything was Mysterio all along, even the relationship you have with Gwen, which I've heard about because I heard that Norman Osborn and Gwen had a thing together and why it was inappropriate. Over here, Harry, do you mean to tell me it was all a lie? That I was never. And he finishes his sentence with Gwen? Get real, Dad. She was way too classy for you. And they squashed that. So I understand where the retcons are in this comic. But they spent a whole ass $4 with us telling us how things actually went down. But I'm really confused as to who Sarah and Gabriel are. And I'm even confused if Kindred is really Gwen Stacy. You're going to see later in the comic, where is it? She's going to say, Mary Jane is going to say, Harry, please. And then I'm thinking Kindred was Gwen, but Kindred in in Harry's body says, call me Kindred. So is Kindred Gwen or Harry? Is it changing? Is it a chameleon thing? Is that maybe I should focus on the artwork more and I could see the face morphing? That's possibly what it is. It kind of looks half Gwen but half different. Maybe from there to the other page. I mean, from there to there, she's changing from chameleon her powers to Harry. Hey, all I can do is say what I saw. Nothing in here was too clear. So was this comic good? I'm sure like rewarding for you old time fans and all that. Again, I can only give my perspective. The comic doesn't end there though, because we get more. It is in September, and every September the American, I don't know if this is the old comic or like something new that they just kind of made for this issue, but every September we the Americans are friends. It's a 20-year anniversary of the terrorist attack from 2001 when two planes flew in New York. I know the Pentagon was hit also, and there was one flight 887. I'm not going to misnumber it, but there was a flight that went down that didn't hit any buildings, any spots. This is it. This is the touching kind of tribute to the survivors, or not the survivors, rather. Well, everyone, survivors and victims. Spider-Man asks Cap, "Did you know anyone?" And it's a great message here. He says, every single one of them." He says, and I felt like, man, that's kind of touching. I don't know if this is like I said, the old one because it says Quesada and Ramita Jr. And I know Ramita Jr. drew the first one, the one that came out like 20 years ago, whenever they did the actual tribute comic. So this may just have been a reprint for me. I didn't read the original. I want to talk about this though. I feel like every time we come around to an anniversary of September 11th, it's like never forget. But the conversation is always about the people who died, feel sorry for them, say nice things. And that's one aspect of what happened on that day. I want to get answers of who was responsible. For one, I want the 9/11, was it called the report? I want things that were blocked off and scratched off as confidential. I want everything out in the open. I want it to be investigated. I want answers, but I feel like whenever we come around to this state, we only ever get to the emotional part and about victims. And that's a conversation I want to have, guys. It's a conversation I want to have. It's a big, impactful moment in the world history, not just American. Remember, guys, I'm in Canada. Like, I got to kind of see this from afar. And I have a unique perspective of being Muslim and seeing what this attack did, what policies were put in that still weren't removed. Like, it's impossible for me not to look at it from this woke perspective. Like, even before Edward Snowden was, I guess, whistle blew and told us what was happening, this Patriot Act and what everything meant, and how mass surveillance was happening, I was always aware of, like, yeah, something happened, things were taken advantage of, and now we live in this situation. Like, I didn't just, and it applies to COVID too, where a virus is out, and then all of these extraordinary measures and policies are put in place, and I'm sitting here like, oh, I wonder when things will return to normal. It's been a year and a half now, nothing's returned to normal. I'm kind of worried about that. So if you ever wonder where my COVID, I guess, skepticism stems from, you can, trace it back to 2001. And if you've been watching my channel, you've probably seen me mention COVID maybe 4 or 5 times by now, usually in a live stream. But I can see how that and make the correlation to 9/11, which is what I'm talking about in this comic. I also read this comic this week, Champions. Super woke. And I use woke the black way, not the white way. The way that they analyze riots and how there's shit disturbers within protests just to make things go awry, just so they can trigger things. The way that apps, because there's an app that Roxxon made called Rocks On. It's sort of TikTok basically, and the way that the mobile app is influencing the young people, it's great. It's so contemporary. It's a great story by Danny Lore and Ironheart artist Luciano Vecchio, and Federico Blee over here too, doing the colors. Someone who's commented on my channel, Federico. If you're watching this, that was for Federico, none of you. Whoever got off by me doing that was not intended for you. Yo, Chillmonger, subscribe to the channel, like the video, dislike the video, comments if you want to talk about this. But if you want to talk about Spider-Man, I guess it's Gwen Stacy. I'm gonna go and check out what everyone else has to say about this here on YouTube.